New Atlantis, a city where skyscrapers touched the sky and streets filled with noise and bustle stretched beneath them. But behind that bright facade lurked a shadow, where crime thrived and power belonged not to the laws, but to those willing to break them. Detective Alex Carter knew this better than anyone. He had served with the New Atlantis Police Department for 10 years now, and every day brought new challenges and dangers. Carter was known for his sharp mind and implacable stance on criminals. His work was not only his duty, but his passion. One day, as the evening sky was being colored in shades of red and gold, Carter received a call that changed everything. A dead body had been found in an affluent neighborhood of the city, and at first glance, it seemed like an ordinary murder. But Carter's intuition told him there was something more at work here. Carter arrived at the crime scene where he was met by Sergeant Jenkins, his partner. "What do we have here?" Carter asked, looking around. "Male mid-40s, Jenkins replied. "Shot in the head. Looks like a professional job. No signs of a struggle." Carter examined the body and immediately noticed an oddity. There was a symbol tattooed on the victim's neck that looked familiar. It was a snake wrapped around a dagger. Carter remembered seeing the symbol before. It belonged to one of the city's most powerful criminal organizations, known as the Red Shadow. Carter and Jenkins began interviewing witnesses and gathering evidence. No one had seen anything suspicious, and the security cameras in the area had been turned off minutes before the murder. This was clearly not a random crime. Carter began his investigation, gathering information about the Red Shadow. This organization had always operated in the shadows, and no one knew who led it. Rumors spoke of a mysterious man named Lucian who ran the entire operation from the shadows, leaving no trace. Carter knew he had to find a way to infiltrate this network, but it was a dangerous endeavor. He started small, raiding small-time drug dealers and gangsters associated with the Red Shadow. Gradually, he managed to gather bits of information that led him to a man named Marcus, a middleman who knew more than he was telling. Carter decided to use his strongest trump card, his ability to reincarnate. He developed a cover story and infiltrated the underworld as John Rivers, an assassin who had come to New Atlantis looking for work. It was risky, but there was no other way. He found Marcus in one of the city's underground casinos and began to gain his trust. Soon, Marcus offered him a job to eliminate one of Red Shadow's competitors. Carter accepted, and the mission was a success, enhancing his reputation. Marcus, impressed with his skills, introduced Carter to one of Red Shadow's key people, Evelyn, a woman with a sharp mind and a cold heart. Evelyn quickly realized that Carter was no ordinary mercenary and decided to take him under her wing. Evelyn began assigning Carter more difficult tasks, and gradually he began to climb up the hierarchy of the Red Shadow. Each step was filled with danger, and Carter had to play a difficult game to keep himself from being exposed. Evelyn seemed to be the only one who could know Lucian's whereabouts. Carter tried to gain her trust by learning more about her motives and plans. He realized that Evelyn was the key to unlocking the entire mystery. One evening, after successfully completing a mission, Evelyn invited Carter to a private meeting. She was impressed with his intelligence and coolness. Over a glass of whiskey, she told him that Lucian was planning something big, something that would change the balance of power in the city. Carter realized that time was running out. He gathered up all the evidence he had collected and handed it to Jenkins, asking him to be ready for the decisive blow. Carter knew that his cover could be blown at any moment and needed to act quickly. The next day, Evelyn informed him that Lucian wanted to meet with him. This was the chance Carter had been waiting for. The meeting was scheduled in an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of town. Carter arrived at the location, knowing it could be a trap. Lucian was not what he expected, an intelligent middle-aged man with a cold stare and calm speech. Lucian greeted Carter and offered him a place in his organization. Carter realized that the moment of truth had arrived. He began asking questions, trying to find out Lucian's true intentions. The conversation was tense, but Lucian suddenly stopped and, looking into Carter's eyes, said, "Do you think I don't know who you really are, Detective Carter?" Lucian's words sounded like thunder. Carter realized that he had been exposed. He knew he only had a few seconds to act. In a flash, he drew his gun, but Lucian was ready. A gunfight broke out. Carter managed to wound Lucian, but he himself was also wounded. Evelyn, who had appeared from the shadows, was ready to finish what she had started, but at that moment, Jenkins and his team, whom Carter had warned in advance, burst in. The battle was fierce. Evelyn and the remaining Red Shadow men fought to the last man, but the police were stronger. Lucian was arrested and Evelyn, badly wounded, tried to escape, but was apprehended by Carter. Carter, bleeding, smiled nonetheless. He knew that their struggle had brought results. The Red Shadow was destroyed, and the city was given a chance at a new future. Epilogue. Carter took a long time to recover from his injury, but his spirit was strong. He knew crime would never completely disappear, but every small step in fighting it mattered. New Atlantis was once again a city where the law mattered and crime could no longer rule with impunity. Carter returned to duty, ready for new challenges. His work continued, and he knew there was always room in this world for a hero who wasn't afraid to fight for truth and justice.